Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. So how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself, man?
I'm good, man. Lots going on in the world.
Yeah, a lot right now.
Yeah.
So what you want to discuss first?
Well, I want to talk about bombing people, trying to give other people food.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about right now?
I'm talking about Israel.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a little more on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, so Israel's going on a bombing spree, as we all know. We've really heard about them yesterday. Just yesterday, they bombed a Iranian consulate building right next to a embassy, which is not an unprecedented action, but something that in like normal times, it's out of the norm. They've done it before. They've actually, I won't say bombed, but they've taken over the American embassy in 1979. That's during the Ayatollah, during the whole entire overthrow, and them kind of putting themselves in a situation to where they're no longer bending to the will of America at that time. But that's just not something that we normally do. We don't go in and we don't bomb consulates or we don't bomb embassies. Those are kind of considered off limits. They have kind of like diplomatic immunity during wartime. And they bombed them yesterday. They killed one of the top Iranian defense ministers, or in the top Iranian in the Defense Department, I should say. This guy, they say, was after Suleiman. He may not have been as high up as Suleiman, the guy who we killed in 2020 in Iraq. During under Trump's presidency, we bombed him in Iraq. I think we drone striked him. I found out today, I'm doing a little bit of research, that they say that Suleiman was preparing to bomb or preparing to attack the American embassy in Iraq. This is a story that's kind of come out after the fact to kind of cover up for why we decided to kill Suleiman, who is a high-ranking defense member of the defense cabinet in Iran. That's like killing, what was her name? Condoleezza Rice or something like that for America. We're going to war over something like that if we would have done that. And so they killed this guy. They killed his one of his deputies and several other people. They say that this consulate was kind of being used as a center to coordinate the wars all throughout the region. He had a really good rapport with all the different the axis. I guess they call it the axis of resistance for Iran. That's Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis down there. All three of their proxies, three of the proxies that they run. Allegedly, all this stuff is alleged.
It's kind of crazy how they're always bombing places you shouldn't be bombing and making excuses for it. Like they bombed a hospital, said they killed 300 Hamas fighters, but I'm like, you've been bombing this. I mean, like you bombing hospitals.
Yeah, they bombed a lot of hospitals during this conflict. A lot.
Hella hospitals. Like that's where you take your injured. That should be a safe haven. There's a couple. I mean, if your defense force is so strong, storm the building.
I feel like they're trying to spread conflict in the region. You do something like that. I mean, that's considered Iranian territory because any embassy that we own is considered American.
It's American soil. That's what they always tell people in the movies.
They have not bombed Iran directly during this whole during none of this conflict has Iran been attacked directly because they say that Iran's been using their proxies to fight the war. They took a page out of the old Western civilizations kind of playbook, and they're fighting a war with proxies. They don't want to go directly with Israel not right now, but they may have to now. That's two of their top defense administration department officials dead right now over the last 4 years. Two of them dead who have been attacked with either with drone strikes, pretty much. So they got to do something at this point.
Something has to be said. I mean, it's too far. It's crazy. Everyone's saying Israel's going to drag the rest of the world into a war.
You look at what else Israel has done. I mean, you look at in 2021, Israel killed a journalist, a journalist for, I believe, Al Jazeera. You ever heard of Al Jazeera?
Yeah.
Al Jazeera is one of the top Middle Eastern news outlets. They're kind of like Sky is for England, Great Britain area. They're like CNN, Fox, MSNBC, ABC are for us. And they report on what goes on in the Middle East, but they report it from it's an unbiased perspective, but they're Arabian. They're of that
region. There's their major news organization.
So they've tried to ban them. They've now banned.
Remember, they kidnapped them for a minute.
They blew up. Like in 2000, I believe it was I can't the year, but I believe it was like 2021 or 2020. They blew up. They basically gave in Gaza. They gave them like 1 hour notice, and they blew up their one of their headquarters in Gaza. They drone striked it. You know, whether it was a drone or a rocket strike, whatever they did, they hit it. You know, they blew it up. They gave these journalists basically an hour's notice, like, hey, get out of the building. We're blowing it up. I mean, which is, you know, better than nothing. But at the end of the day, that's a journalistic headquarters.
Yeah.
You can kill civilians with that. You did that because you didn't want them to report on what's going on in that region.
That's what you're doing now. They kicked them out of there. They're like, we don't want you to report because we all see what's going on.
Do you know that over 90? This is like been one of the worst slaughters of journalists in a very long time during this war. This is not even a war. This is a one-sided attack. They've killed over 90 journalists over this time. I saw one on maybe it was on television or something. He's basically took off his body armor, everything, and start crying like, hey, we're here. Just, you know, they were just killing them indiscriminately. They've also just killed 7 aid workers. I believe it was yesterday.
Yeah.
They bombed
them, trying to take food to the people that they're starving out in Gaza.
I think 2 of them were British. One of them was from Australia.
One was American, and one was American Canadian.
Dual nationality. I think one of them was Palestinian. These people who are, I think they were one of the first few groups that come inside of Gaza when the whole war started happening. They were providing over 600,000 meals each day. 600,000 at 250. I think either 1,000 or 250,000 tons of food or something like that, like a ridiculous amount of food. And they just cut all that off. They had to. You just killed 7 of their workers. Anyway, they're not going to feel safe. So there already has been a food shortage in Gaza, a huge food shortage. I mean, people are starving in there right now. And you go in and this is who you decide to bomb and kill, or the people who are coming in who are this is like us going inside of somewhere and say, hey, I want to help people.
And they're like, nah, we're going to bomb you because these people need to starve and stay in this one area.
And I want to make
it sounds like you're just making your own new Holocaust. Yeah, that's what you're doing.
You want to make this is like, I mean, this guy has created this is a hallmark moment for Benjamin Netanyahu. He's figured like this. You touch one of mine, you know what I mean? It's like that Tupac lyric. You touch one of mine, that's on everything I owe. I destroy everything you touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, it's a point too. It's like you've made your point, but now it's overboard. It's to the point where you have no credibility in the world anymore. There's no credit. No one feels bad for your group or anybody else because the way that you are rampaging and murdering these people and letting them starve out. You're starving women, children, and then you're saying, okay, well, this one guy's bad, and so the whole group is bad. I've been on the receiving end of that, and I don't like it. And I think it's appalling. It's appalling. So I mean, I don't ever bring up nothing about no Holocaust or nothing because you're committing one right now.
Yeah, they definitely are committing atrocities that are outside of the norm. They've killed over 33,000 people. That's just on the low end right there. 33,000
that they're counting.
You know, in the last, I guess it's been almost 6 months now, about 6 months since this war has been going on right here. I don't want to call this a war. This is a one-sided battle. This is an extermination. That's what I'd rather call it. It's
one-sided.
It's an extermination. This is what they've planned to do. They've created more settlements in the West Bank. They're indiscriminately having civilians, not saying the government's doing it, but civilian casualties on the Palestinian side in the West Bank have ramped up. They're committing genocide at this point in time. And so it just, I mean, you got to look at it like this. They're attacking journalists, blowing up. I mean, and they just,
you're attacking, you're starving out people. You're killing women and children, have nothing to do with it. You're killing innocent people. You're killing the news. You're pushing the news out of there.
Aid workers,
killing aid workers, bringing
blowing
people
up
food.
Aid trucks. You know, this is what they're doing, and they're making an America. At this point in time, we're complicit with this completely. The Biden administration is 110% complicit with this. They need to step in now and no longer take a tepid motion and say, "Oh, well, we'll cut off aid. We'll do this." We just gave them some F-35 fighters.
Yeah, no, hold on. They just killed an American citizen. They bombed an American aid working citizen.
Probably the bomb we made.
Yes, that we're funding.
We gave to them. Yep.
That we're funding. Speaking of America funding things, I want to talk about New York right now. Let's talk about this. So, New York hands out prepaid credits cards for migrant families. I'm going to read a little bit of this
migrant
to you.
Families. Okay, let's make sure we keep that word migrant families.
Migrant, illegal immigrant families.
Illegal immigrants. Asylum seeker. Okay, I'm going to let you.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Asylum seeker.
Cool.
That's not so much illegal.
That's cool. All right. Despite criticism, New York City officials have already begun handing out prepaid credit cards to migrants for food. The immediate response cards are being hand-delivered at the Roosevelt Hotel and distributed by Mobility Capable Finance and staffed directly to asylum seekers receiving financial assistance.
Okay.
Now, they're not food stamp cards. They're prepaid Visa cards, right? So a family of 4 is expected to receive up to $350 per week under the program. The program will start with 500 migrant families with children already living in short-term hotels. City officials said that the pilot program is, if it's a success, they would consider expanding this program to all migrant families staying in hotels.
So they're staying in a hotel. Are they already paying for the hotels too?
The migrants aren't. We are.
No, I'm just saying.
Yes,
so
yeah, they're paying for the hotels.
They're giving about $1,400 a month to live off.
Yep.
That's food, clothing, whatever else they need.
Whatever they said, they have to promise to just buy food and clothing with the money while they live in these free hotels.
Whatever they buy.
I'm just wondering, how many homeless people did you have to step over to go give the migrants their cards?
I mean, again.
Now, think about this, America.
Think
about this, America. They're giving these migrants more money than they gave you during the COVID pandemic.
That's not true.
Are you serious?
No, that's not true.
Are you serious?
They were giving up $700 a week out here.
To who? On food stamps?
No, not on food stamps. They're talking about
unemployment.
Up to $700.
That's unemployment.
Like
that's unemployment.
On top of your unemployment, you were probably.
That's unemployment. They weren't giving us Visa cards.
Out here, we have like max unemployment back then.
They weren't giving us Visa cards.
$700-800 a month or something like that. But they're giving you like damn near $1,200.
No, the unemployment. What they were doing with the unemployment, and that's why people aren't working.
They're giving them like $600-700 a month on top of, like, say, like in Arizona. Their max unemployment is like $200-250 a week. You know what I mean? Like, so they gave them an extra $700 on top of that.
They have to.
They gave that to everybody across a week.
You know, it's crazy, and people looked at that like, "Oh, this is what I'm naturally supposed to be making. This is what I'm supposed to be making." I'm just saying, you giving these people, you're stepping over multiple homeless people in New York to go give the migrants.
So what other? I mean,
money all month while they stay in these free hotels. Then you come back out, you be like, yo, sir, you can't sleep on that bench.
Let's say this. Okay. If a person comes here with just what they have on their back, they don't have anything else. Pretty much the clothes they got on, maybe a backpack. They're not taking a whole, but in a caravan, it's not like back in the day where they got a horse and on the back of that horse is a wagon and everything else that comes along. This isn't those days anymore. So when you're in a caravan, as they call them, you pretty much got what you can carry.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, check it out. What if a person, an American citizen, is barely holding on? He's paying $2,000 in rent for a 1-bedroom. He gets sick for 2 weeks. He can't afford the rent no more. Then he loses his place, loses his job.
Am I against us making sure
America first?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. Look, you got homeless people. Feed the homeless. Give this to the homeless people on the streets.
Where was this energy before this happened?
It's always been like this.
I'm not saying not you, but the rest of everybody else.
Because they acted like we didn't have the funds to do it. But now somehow we do.
Allow them to act like this. Our priorities are not just based around New York. New York's probably getting this money not just from New York.
No, they're doing it in LA too.
Federal government.
They're doing it in LA too.
The federal government's helping to fund this as well. Our tax dollars. We have never pressed them to do these things. We made them believe, they don't have the budget. The federal government stepped in and made it happen. You know, I just feel like, where was this energy before that? This has been going on for a long time. They keep telling us
they didn't have the money. Then they sent almost $1 billion to Ukraine. Then they sent almost a whole bunch of money to Israel. And now they're feeding the migrants. I'm just saying, why don't you? If America looks nice from the outside, so does Chuck E. Cheese.
You know what these all sounds like to me? Again, socialist policies that we all are expounding. This is what America has become. Let's just be honest. Let's be real here. Everyone's talking about America first. Do this for these people. Do this for these people. These are the same people talking about pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm a conservative. I don't want to help women on welfare. I don't want this. I don't want that. But these are the same policies. This is all help me stuff. Not you particularly, but us. So with these same policies that are socialist policies, call yourself what you are. Don't hide behind the veil of capitalism or of free market. You're not.
So I'm just saying, look at these great ideas that they've came up recently for the migrant influx in America that they could have been doing for the homeless people. You know, this is the people sleeping on the street work for that money. It's not like we get to control where our taxes go, but I'm just saying, you stepping over homeless people to go get this stuff to the migrants. You giving them Visa cards. Give this homeless person a Visa. When people would always face for years, why can't we take this building that's knocked down and house the homeless there? Why can't we use this building? And they were like, no, we can't do that. We can't. But they're doing it right now with the migrants.
This has been going on for a long time. We have never, only time we step up and say anything is when it's like one of us versus one of us. Not even saying it has to be American, a person versus another person. You're giving it to this person. Why am I not getting it? That's a problem.
I don't need it. I'm just saying, help the people, get the veterans off the street.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know,
I don't
there's people that sleep in their car and go to work because they can't afford to live nowhere. Think about it. You got to sleep in your car, and they're telling you to move because the migrant got to park there because that's his hotel now.
I don't see. Now you're making it a migrant versus a person who's already.
No, I just want my fellow U.S. citizens to have the same care and thought that they're putting in for these migrants. They could have put homeless people in these buildings.
I think we should have better care.
We should.
Than what? But we have to vote that way. We have to vote that way. We have to vote for people who actually care about the people, and that's just the truth. We look at which party votes for the people and who doesn't. Who's never made a law to help the people recently in recent times?
Unless you're rich.
There's nothing that they've done to try and help you out at all, to get you off the street, to make a program for you. And they're trying to take programs.
Actually, they're trying to take that away from you.
Yeah. Let's be honest here. So we talk about how we hate this. Oh, I'm not doing this. You've never done anything. But these are the only people who are really doing anything at all whatsoever. You know what I'm saying?
And they're doing it for migrants.
So they're doing it for everybody. You act like Americans don't have programs.
Where's my Visa card?
We don't have programs here in America. There's
we do.
programs for us to do anything. There's not welfare.
Those programs only help. Like, I remember one time I went to the KCR building and I was like, "Hey, I need help paying my rent." They're like, "Did you get an eviction notice?" I said, "No." I'm like, "Hey, I need help paying my electricity." They're like, "Did you get a cutoff notice?" I said, "No." They're like, when you get to the bottom where they're about to kick you the fuck out, then come back and we'll help you.
But you got to also understand this on top of that. What we don't really realize is I keep saying this in a lot of different episodes. We have a population problem. And without immigrants, and we're not even bringing in enough migrants to help with that problem. In reality, not in this country, we're not. We actually have a declining, so it's not a decline. We have our population is growing because of migrants, like a small amount. But most of other countries are having declining population rates right now. And that's leading to a lot of these conflicts. We don't realize this is leading to conflicts. Governments plan, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years out. They see this. They have projections. They understand where they're going to be at certain periods of time. And so they have to look at how will we survive as a country, as a race. Sometimes this is why we have a lot of these other laws. But this is what we're doing this for. We can't tell ourselves we need these people. We have a declining population. Things can happen bad. That's when you start having a declining military and everything else at that point in time. You know what I mean? A lot of what we have here is the reason why we're able to run so much debt is because of people. You know how they say you're born, you get a social security number?
Yeah.
That's pretty much your debt number. You're worth this amount to the government. This is what we have to have that in order to be able to continue to account for how we can run up so much debt. Oh, here's another body, pretty much another slave to pay off this debt.
Well, my whole thing is like this. If they bring that program up here to our state, my new name is Noah Jabi. Because I'm going to the hospital to go get care. I'm going to go get some dental work. I'm going to take whatever they're giving out because they ain't going to give it to me any other way because I might make too much to apply for food stamps. I might make too much and I can't get Section 8.
Who do you think puts these laws in place to make sure that these are the how much you're supposed to make and this is what you're supposed to do? We have officials that put these laws in place for us to do that. A lot of places don't even want to see that amount being a lot of these officials, and we know what party they come from. They don't want to see any of this. This doesn't even exist. So are you saying there's no way we're going to stop all migrants from coming into this country?
I'm just saying Ben Carson said something smart, and I mean, because he's a smart man. He said, look, America needs to start, if you don't want to see America destroyed from the inside, America needs to start taking care of the law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. Because right now, we're the ones getting fucked.
All right. I can't disagree with that point right there. I can't go against that too much. But what I will say is that at the end of the day, I do believe that $1,400, that's New York. That's New York City, probably.
$1,400 free room?
It probably ain't going too far, $1,400.
If you got a free room, it is.
I don't know.
$1,400 is a lot of money, especially when you ain't got to pay rent.
You got to pay for food. We know how much that stuff costs. Food costs money.
They're probably getting food stamps too.
No, they said food.
Food and clothes, right?
Yeah. Everything you need. Here's the money for it. The whole entire month. A homeless person already probably lives in his encampment. I'm not saying.
For me, what I'm gonna do with the money.
At the same time, though, because I've seen some. Listen, I know some people living in homeless encampments. I saw them. They build them like houses. I'm not saying they should be living in those homeless encampments. I've been in them and I've helped feed people inside of them. So for anybody who's like, you don't care about homeless, this, that, and the third. Have you ever gone into a homeless encampment? This isn't to brag about it and say how such a good deed I did. But at the end of the day, I went in there with a nonprofit organization, Doc Love the Kids, and we went in there and we fed the homeless. And at the same time, I saw what those encampments actually look like. I've handed meals, and this isn't me being callous towards the homeless in no way, shape, or form. But I've seen them build entire houses, have power and everything, and with stove, like not really a stove, but like it's a real house, man.
Yeah.
They got television there, everything. They build these encampments.
Don't tell on these people because the government will come in and tax them and tear it down.
They're really trying. This is how some of them want to live.
Yeah. I know. I've met homeless people. Someone like, yeah, they said they offered me a place to live, but I kind of like, because they have she was a drunk, so she didn't want to stop drinking.
So, I mean,
but not everybody wants to live like that.
Not everybody. But I mean,
that's like saying everyone's Hamas.
Exactly. I'm not saying everybody. I wasn't saying that at all. I don't want to misconstrue that. But at the end of the day, this is a large number of people in this country. I think we have a lot less mental health facilities than we need, beds than we need, stuff like that. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. We do have a lot of facilities for homeless people. We do. They have a whole entire old hotels that they have, I think, over in like Spanaway or somewhere, for all this. They got them. It's out here. So let's not act like, there's nowhere for the homeless people to go. We're not helping them. There's no programs. There's nothing. They just out there on the street. Half of them out there on the street because they don't want to live, like you said, under any kind of rules or conditions.
Yeah.
That's factual. I know people who live in like homeless shelters now. They live there because they can live under conditions. Stuff goes on in there, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, just like in Oregon, the Oregon governor signs a bill to recriminalize hard drugs.
Yeah, they had to.
It was getting bad down there.
It's getting out of control.
Crazy.
People walking around with open their pocket. I mean, you can't arrest anybody for it.
Can't do nothing.
People say, "Hey, I just keep just enough."
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're attacking. Who's paying the price for that? Tax-paying, law-abiding citizens.
I mean, we pay the price also for locking up something. We talked
drug
about
addicts.
this before.
I went to court one time with my friend.
70%, man.
It was 80% when I went.
Addicts, man.
Yeah, that's what the cop told me.
This is what we're locking up. We're paying $40,000 a year for each person. That's a lot of money. We got millions of people behind bars. We could be putting them in facilities for a lot cheaper, make the facilities cheaper for them. Clean them up the best we can and put them back out on the street. Try to get them a job. We don't do that.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is just like when you let people out of prison, too. It's like, even after they can go through the program, they can go to prison and rehabilitate themselves if they used to do. Or you can put people in programs and they can get better.
Used to. I don't remember when they ever used to rehabilitate people in prison. When was that ever a thing?
No, I used to be able to get degrees and stuff.
Okay,
yeah. Used to be able to get
They did that one. Okay, I remember that back in the day.
But I'm saying it's like once you take somebody, you can do right when you're in an environment to learn.
Yeah, I understand.
But when you put them right back in the same place.
They put them in a prison is like a place for animals. Period, man.
Yeah.
This is what they're in there teaching each other. This is what's going on.
I said rehabilitation places.
You know what I mean? That ain't happening, man. They're not really. They're trying to look for recidivism. They're trying to keep you in there. You know what I mean? They want you in that mug because they need more bodies.
Hella money. For-profit prisons.
This is all what it's really about.
Yeah.
Another thing. Let's discuss this boat that crashed into the bridge in Baltimore.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What's your thoughts about that? Well,
they're saying the propulsion system. Propulsion system failed, right? But they gave a warning. I mean, accidents happen, and it's just that one just happened to hit a bridge. They gave warning. The police blocked off the bridge. They just happened
a few minutes before it happened.
Yeah, they just had enough. There's just only so many cars that were still on there, but they blocked off the bridge, and it could have been worse.
Within 4 minutes of them giving a warning, at 1:24 a.m., they had just left the dock. And I believe it was Baltimore, and they had just left the dock going about 8 knots, which is about 9 miles per hour. And then at 1:24, the lights lights kind of went off, and they put out a call for help a little bit, like, hey, we need some tugboats or somebody to come in here and help us. 1:26, I believe the lights. I think they said it kind of swerved off course. The boat kind of swerved off course a little bit, but the lights came back on or something like that around that time. And then by 1:28, they had already put out the call, but they stopped some of them. But there were people still on the bridge, working on the bridge. A bunch of workers who are doing repairs on the bridge were still up there. And at 1:28, the ship just crashed right into the bridge, and it just crumbled the entire bridge. That the way it looked like Legos hitting some Legos.
Yeah.
That whole thing, how that thing fell.
Especially the way they hit it too. I mean, there was another one that happened too in Oklahoma on the 30th. Actually, Oklahoma State Patrol says it diverted traffic after a barge hit its bridge. And I saw the video of that.
Did it fall?
Huh? No, it didn't fall. It just it got damaged, but it didn't fall.
I'm sure that things hit bridges all the time, but we didn't see them crumble, and they're not in such a big metropolitan area. And that was a huge ship that hit that. And just the kind of way the lights went on and off. They said that,
and it's a major port.
And they said that a lot of times these boats are running on skeleton crews.
Yeah,
they're running with insufficient amount of people to actually run the ship. And then this is what we're looking at. We're looking at all the plane crashes that, not plane crashes, but malfunctions.
Well, I mean, all this stuff happens anyways. It's just now we have more cameras and the news cycle is 20. We're in a 24-hour news cycle.
To hit a bridge and knock the entire bridge
the whole
down,
thing, that's wild. Yeah.
That was wild right there. Because most times now.
And to watch it in real time.
Watching in real time.
Well, not real time, but to watch the video. Like you see, like they had the one bridge that Joe Biden was going to visit the town. I can't remember where it was, but the bridge had collapsed. And we just saw the collapse bridge. But we watched this bridge get knocked down. Mm-hmm. And then this other barge hit this other one, just like we had all the train derailments.
So people were saying, what do you think? I mean, to me, the way the lights went off and then came back on, they said the smoke was, black smoke came belling out the top like they might have had some propulsion, something. I don't know what that signaled. And then like a minute later, they went back off, and then the boat kind of swerved off course a little bit.
They probably tried to turn it. The propulsion dies. You try to turn it back on. It comes back on, and then it dies again. Accidents happen. Now, it happened a second time, though, in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. So now it's a coincidence. That's how I look at it. If it happens twice, it's coincidence. Twice. Well, just like that, when they had those train derailments, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking somebody was doing that on purpose. That's my conspiracy theory. Because there was a lot of train derailments. I'm like, and they were trying in like southern states.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Like,
because the port
in Baltimore, but I'm like,
that port. I guess the port where they bring it. There's a lot of stuff that comes in and out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, you knock that down, you're gonna slow it down.
You'll slow down traffic. You'll slow down a lot of stuff.
But rich people, it's a conspiracy thing. Rich people do things wildly. I mean, they'll blow up a whole plane because they don't like one person on it, and you got the money to do it.
Okay, so you don't think it had anything to do with any kind of attack on America? You think it was just a coincidence?
I think it was just a coincidence. Now, if that second bridge would have fell down, the one here in Oklahoma, that would have been a problem. I mean, even if they're hitting it, it has me kind of skeptical. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of wild. That just happens days apart.
So, what do you think about Trump being able to pay his $175 million bond for his for the?
They being nice. He was bragging they had the money. He's bragging he had all the money. I mean, he paid it. I mean,
he got it from, I guess he got a loan from a company that he'd worked with for Omnibus or something like that. Something like that he'd worked with before, who'd given him loans before, previous to this, for some other things other deals that he had gone through. And so they gave up the money for this as well. And so, I mean, he came up with the money. He's good right now. Plus, you look at True Social. I think did we talk about that?
Yeah, they just went public.
Yeah.
But it went public, but he lost like $5 million. I saw that today. And
the company lost like 40 something or 50 something. They lost a lot of money. I think it was last year, pretty much. But the stock was worth like $6.5 billion. When it first came out. It went up. It started out. I think it went up to like almost $70 a share or something like that. But now it's dropped back down to either 40 something or something like that dollars per share. It took a big drop. It took a big hit. Just here yesterday. I mean, that's all fluctuation type stuff, though. Him to even be able to come out and sell this for any amount of money is a win for him. It's a W.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Period, plain and simple. This thing is like, it's not even a big platform. They said after the election, if he doesn't win, it's going to take a big hit.
Yeah, of course.
People what are people going to do after Trump? I mean, say he does win. Say Trump does win, correct? You know what I mean? What are people going to do after his 4 years are up? What are all these loyalist Trump people going to do then?
He ain't leaving.
I'm just saying. Let's just say from the perspective
he ain't leaving.
At some point in time,
he didn't want to leave last time. He tried to overthrow the United States government and take away our freedom.
Okay, but let's just first say that he does leave after 4 years. Okay, and he does leave. What are they going to do then? Who else? Who are they going to follow and be loyal to at that point?
His sons.
You think that they're going to be the next?
He ain't leaving. You think he's just going to do another 4 years and be like, yeah, I did that. I'm going home. Nah. He tried to be
like 83 years old or something.
And he going to be a dictator until he dies. That was the plan last time, right?
It's going to be tough. I just don't believe, this is my personal belief. I don't believe, he might put somebody in there who does his bidding as a vice
or he'll
president.
just be like Kim Jong-il and just pass it on to his kids. Like I'm saying, he wasn't going to leave last time. So why would he leave? He get 4 years. He going to implement so much stuff where he'll never have to leave.
What I'm going to say is like this. Do you believe that we're going for that as a country?
We almost did go for that. Yeah. No, it's going to be spaced out and civil wars and people are going to fight, but we won't even be a country after that. Like as soon as another country sees that America is split and we're actually fighting and warring, they're going to swoop in, start attacking us. We're not going to be unified. America won't be America no more.
I think that's the worst thing that you could possibly do as a country is to swoop in and do anything. I think you let them fight. If you swoop in, we unite at that point.
No, we ain't going to unite.
Any other country
because after we unite, who gon' after we unite and we win, then we're gonna go right back to fighting. We ain't gonna be America no more. So I'm saying
sometimes when a foreign adversary or any kind of people, but it could be different if they come in and fight for one side or the other. They come in and try to arm one side or help one side or the other or something like that. Then that I understand what you mean by that, but I just don't see that. I don't see it happening. But last time I didn't see it happening either. But I'm like, once if he does win, he leaves office, whatever.
He ain't never leaving.
What are they going to do next?
I'll put $1 on it, and I want my dollar. All right, folks, this is Uncommon Courtesy.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. That's very, very important to us. Hit that bell also so that you can get notifications whenever we drop new episodes. We plan on dropping a lot more for you guys. We appreciate all the support that's come out.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. This is Uncommon Courtesy, and this is the show. I think it stopped.